Have you ever rooted for a central couple in a horror movie? Then you are going to love House of Rain by New York Times bestselling TikTok sensation Hily. Happy endings and horror can mix after all. It's a gothic sapphic romance meets supernatural suspense, equal parts sinfully spicy and bone chilly. Salem was supposed to be on her honeymoon. Instead, she's trapped at Belfour Manor with Rain, a woman hiding secrets as dark as the house itself. This book gets 4 out of 5 peppers for bringing the heat. If you're a fan of The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager or Verity by Colleen Hoover, this must-read thriller is for you. The book just sucks you in. I swear I even caught myself looking behind my shoulder once or twice because Harley LaRue builds this tension that just lingers. You can find House of Rain by Harley LaRue wherever books are sold in print and in ebook. The gorgeous deluxe hardcover first printing is only available for a limited time, so grab yours before they are gone.
What's the one thing about your health you wish someone had told you years ago? Well, for me, it's how important the gut is. Truly, the gut is the foundation of overall health and vitality. It's not just about digestion. The gut affects everything from your energy levels and mood to weight management and even longevity. And while most gut supplements contain probiotics or probiotics and prebiotics at best, Bioma contains all 3 essential ingredients your gut needs. Visit gobioma.com/dateable today. That includes prebiotics, probiotics, and postbiotics. Each ingredient is science-backed and third-party tested. Just take 2 capsules before breakfast and take the guesswork out of feeling your best. Visit gobioma.com/dateable today. That's GOBIOMA.com/DATEABLE. Hi, I'm Yue Xu.
And I'm Julie Kraftchick.
We're active daters turned dating insiders.
Here to dive into everything modern dating and relationships.
Welcome to Dateable. Hello, friends.
Welcome back to another episode of Dateable.
Do we have your consent to talk about sex? Think about it. If we don't, you can just move on and fast forward.
We need consent.
We do, yes, stay on. But in all seriousness, we're talking about digital sexual consent today. We've talked about sexual consent in the real world, in the physical world, and now we're talking about sexual consent in the digital world.
I think this is so important because our worlds are so intertwined nowadays. Like, I think back in the day when there wasn't online dating and dating apps, you thought about like, oh, like, you know, when I went into a physical place in a bar and someone's hitting on me, or, you know, when a date started to progress a little and like we were maybe going to heat things up, like, will I give them consent that I want to like take that next step? But nowadays on a dating app, all of a sudden you're slapped with a dick pic. And you never said that you wanted that.
They should make that as part of profiles. Are you open to dick pics? Yes or no?
I mean, in a way, like that is kind of what we're talking about today. We're actually going to be joined with Dr. Mindy DeSeta, who has a doctorate in clinical sexology and is a board-certified sex therapist and a licensed mental health counselor. She also works with the dating app Hily as a sexologist and sexual educator and consults on their product development and research and communication. And one of the reasons why we wanted to have her is because Hily is working on features to really give more of the consent back in the digital space.
And why is this important? Apparently, 38% of adults who have ever used a dating site or app reported receiving unwanted, sexually explicit messages or images at some point on the platforms. 38%.
I certainly have.
Yeah, same.
I once got a dick pic and it wasn't even the same race of the person I was talking to.
I don't understand. Did they just clip it off like Google Images? Because theirs is not.
I don't know. I'm like, why?
Theirs is not
why
good.
did you just said that?
Or do they have like an arsenal of dick pics and they're like, I bet she would like this one.
My friend, this wasn't on a dating app, but my friend was like seeing this guy, and on Thanksgiving, she got a photo from him like in the bathroom with a ruler.
What?
Yeah. And I was like, okay, did he just like leave the Thanksgiving table and go take that? Or did he have that stored in his phone? And he's like, I'm going to give it to you on Thanksgiving.
You're welcome. And then 30% say that they had someone contact them after they said they were not interested. So I do wonder if this ruler guy kept texting. I was like, what about now?
I think
now
she was into it. I think she was actually into it. But,
oh, she was. Oh, okay.
I mean, that's the thing is like, okay, everyone's like, oh my God, the worst. But sometimes with the right person, you could be into it. I know there was a few people I can think of that, you know, it wasn't necessarily dick pics, but like things started to heat up a little and I was cool with it because I was into them.
Were they dick pics?
No, they weren't dick pics. It was more like talk. And at first I was like taken back on it. But ultimately it's like, who does it come from is a lot of it.
Of course.
But I think the problem with dick pics a lot of times and sexy talk too is you haven't established that rapport yet to go there.
Yeah, I think it's odd to sex with someone I haven't had sex with. And I get it can build up to something sexual, but it's kind of odd. Like you're talking about my body, but you've never even seen my body. You know, it's odd.
Yeah, but some people like it. And that's why I think there needs to just be that consent, like everything.
Right. Yeah. Have you ever gotten a dick pic from a boyfriend?
Yes.
Oh. Solicited?
Unsolicited. Solicited.
Oh, okay. So you were like, show me your dick? Is that how it went down? How does this work? Teach me.
It's not my current husband. I'll just put that out there. He would die. No. It was during a long distance period.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I think there's a time and a place for certain things, I guess.
Yes, yes. I've gotten, not from boyfriends, like sexy poses that not for me. Like showing a little butt crack. And like, I don't know, this doesn't do anything for me. But maybe to an ex-girlfriend of this person. Like you said, this worked for somebody. It did not work for me.
This is why it's so polarizing, though, is you just don't know the reaction. Like, I remember our friend that showed us a sexy pic she got from some guy, and it was like such an ick to her. And it was like a guy she had like gone on a couple dates with. And I remember being like, oh, it can't be that bad. And then I saw the photo and I was like, oh my God.
That's pretty bad.
He clearly thought like she'd be into it or someone was into it.
Someone, yeah. It worked for somebody or somebody imaginary. It doesn't even matter. My ex that cheated, when I found the text messages, he has sent a similar photo to the girl that he was cheating on me with. Like as the photo that he sent when we first started dating. And then I was like, oh my God, how gross. That's his shtick.
Wait,
That's
what was
shtick.
the photo?
It's like erect penis, but through sweatpants.
Ew.
I know. That's a shtick. And I was like, gross. I fell for this. And now this chick is falling for this. I remember just being so grossed out by it. Like, oh my God.
I actually have gotten one of those before too. It is like someone that I met on an app. We never actually met in person. And I remember he was like a VC. He was like clearly like established. And it started off like promising. And then it turned into just like him messaging all the time and never having time. And then it started to like the sweatpants photo came in and I was like, oh hell no, I'm done. I'm done. This was actually my most recent time dating, like before I met my now husband. I was like, I'm not engaging in this. I'm over it.
Not the gray sweatpants.
But again,
like,
someone's into it. Someone's into it.
I mean, he could have cited me as someone that I worked on because I guess I didn't think anything of. I was like, I was traveling when he sent this photo and we had just started dating and I wasn't turned on by it, but I was like, oh, he's thinking of me. But I didn't realize it was just his shtick. It could have been the same photo. Who knows?
He's like the guy from Thanksgiving. He just keeps it in his phone and just sends it to every new person.
Yes.
It's the same photo.
Yes. Yeah. In a hidden, protected album.
I think that's why I don't like it on dating apps especially, is because you haven't built up that rapport. I'm not saying I like it in general. It's not really for me.
Yeah.
I'm just putting that out there. But like, I feel like if it's at least someone you know better and it's like time has established, it feels like more personal, especially if they're like the type that would never do it. I feel like the ex of mine that did it like would never do this. So it was like, it kind of felt like a little more like, I don't know, special isn't the right word, but like when it's on like a dating app and you don't know them and you like know they're sending this to like every person, it's like, okay, there's really nothing here besides just it feeling very inappropriate.
And I always just kind of wonder, what signal were you reading? Like, what was it? What was it? The question about how work went today? Or was it my thumbs up emoji that set things off? Like, what was it that gave you the green light to send this?
I mean, it's just app culture, I think, has made everything so impersonal. And like, you could say anything behind a screen, like even just outside of dating, outside of inappropriate photos. Look at like X and like all the political rants out there, like things that people would never feel comfortable saying and doing in person, they feel like they can do on the internet. So I think it's just a perfect storm of that. So I'm really glad that an app, Hily is the app that we're talking about, I'm glad that they are taking this and being like, hey, this is an issue and this is a reason why people don't want to be on apps anymore. And we're going to actually make some features around it, not just let it keep going. And I actually didn't know that Hily stood for, hey, I like you. I kind of like that.
It's such a younger generation thing.
Hey,
I know
like
ILY is I like you or I love you. So I guess with an H, it's the hey, I like you. And we've been talking about how dating apps haven't really evolved for so long. So thank goodness somebody came in and said, we need better features that facilitate a better culture. And I really think it's the bad actors, these unsolicited messages that take away from the actual fun of sex and intimacy. It's not all bad. It's only when it's unsolicited or I didn't give you consent for it. That's when it's bad. But with the right people in the right time, in the right mood, it's wonderful and it should be celebrated. So I'm glad that now in this digital world, we have tools to say yes or no. And then if it's a yes, let's explore. Yeah.
And if it's a no, don't send it to us.
Don't send it. Please don't. Keep those sweatpants on. Put another pair over them.
I love that one because it's like a little subtle, but you know what they're getting at.
Oh, you think it's subtle? It's just like, I think it's like worse than a dick pic because it's just like sweatpants are not attractive in the first place.
I mean, is a dick pic attractive? I would say it's not. I think it's more like there is a weird like thrill to it that people could say. I don't think anyone's like looking at it and being like, well, that is hot. Maybe there's someone. I don't know. I don't want to speak for everyone.
Decorate your dick.
Oh, right.
Like,
oh, my God. We need to link that. If you've been an OG Dateable listener, what was it? What was the story? You heard it on a bachelorette party, right? You got this idea?
We were at a comedy show.
Yes, you and I. Yes.
And this woman, this female comedian got on stage and she mentioned that she didn't understand dick pics because there's never in comparison to something. There's no reference point.
Unless you have the ruler.
Unless you have like... So she's like, why not make your background more interesting so I have a point of reference, like put an orange behind it or a treehouse or whatever so I know what we're talking about here. So I was at a bachelorette party telling them about the stand-up routine. And one of the girls was like, oh, it's like decorating your dick. And then everybody was like, decorate. So then the idea was like putting different, at a photo booth, you put a little props on your head. Now you're putting it on your dick and then you make it into different characters. So then Julie and I took that one step further and we created a video around the Decorator app where you can put all kinds of personas on your dick, like the doctor dick. The lawyer dick.
And I used my graphic design background to really good use. I feel like now with AI, you could do some real crazy stuff.
You're right.
Probably.
Oh
Maybe we should make a 2.0. But I just remember sending you, I was in like a coffee shop doing like the dick in front of Machu Picchu. And like some guy was like near me looking at my computer like, what are you doing?
And you know what that guy's doing? Spreading dick pics. Because he's like, I saw this girl looking at a dick pic. She was into it.
This video, though, it was like a full-on production at my old apartment. There was like literally cameras everywhere. And it was a...
Yes.
I don't think I mean, you're clearly much more in the world of shooting commercials and shooting things. I didn't realize how long like a 3-minute video would take. It was like a full day affair.
A full day. And we enlisted some of our friends and even cast an actress who was getting progressively drunk.
I was going to say it was unpaid. She was paid in booze. And by the end, you could see the token. She had a killer line in there.
She had the video's so good. If you haven't seen it, I try to watch it once a year just for shits and giggles. It brings so much joy into my life because the concept of it is still brilliant. You know,
I still think the best is we had our friend Kiana, who now she's more like working on production side, but at the time she was like, I want to be an actress. Yes. And she had just started like school and all of that. She was in town because we filmed it around our friend Deb's wedding. She was in town for the wedding. And I think we like purposely did it then because she was going to be here. And she was like the host, like kind of like the host.
The spokesperson.
And after that, her mom took her acting career seriously. Her mom's like, I will be your agent or manager.
It's in her reel.
She did a killer job. I'll say that. My favorite, though, was your friend Dave. He just... And I feel like I've seen him a couple times recently because he's friends with our friend Louise also. And I always just think of the improv that he did because he was like, what was he? He was like a doctor and he was endorsing it.
He was a PhD, MD, DDS, DDP.
He just kept adding random credentials and that was the best. That was a total improv.
I'm sorry. I'm just giggling so much. And if you haven't seen the video, you're probably like, what the fuck are these girls talking about? I'm telling you, you have to go watch it.
There's YouTube.
Such like beautiful lines in there that this is pre-AI. We wrote it ourselves. People actually
You wrote it. You were the script master. I was the visuals of the dick pics. You were the script master.
And when Julie sent me all these dick pics, because it was for some of the scenes, like the girls are scrolling through dick pics, I just never ended up deleting them. So you know how iPhones give you like a memory? I get these memories all the time. Like this day back in 2019 was whatever.
To bring it full circle, it would be hilarious if you were on dating apps sending people those dick pics.
I would totally send the sombrero dick pic. That's my favorite still.
They weren't even real dicks. That's the best part. They were like from like a dildo or something. But then also we blurred them out, dick. Right? We like blurred them.
It's a huge dick. I mean, it's probably like 2 hands length.
That was one of my proudest moments as a graphic designer.
It should be in your portfolio.
It should.
Honestly. Like, our book cover is great, but the dick pics for the Decorator app. Now there's vibe coding. We should just make this app.
Oh
Julie.
my God.
Okay, done.
No.
Done.
No.
We're making this.
No, we're not.
Making this.
No, we're
You're
not.
decorating your
you
dicks,
on her
everyone.
own on this one, guys.
Come on, y'all. You can put little glasses on them.
Oh my God.
I mean, there's so many. You can put a poncho on them.
It works hand in hand with this new feature. So if you did it, then you could lead with consent, right? Do you want to see my decorated dick?
Yes. And then everybody will be so curious. They say yes. I would be like, what?
And if the answer is no, you don't get it, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But
someone else will get that sombrero dick. Lucky them.
Oh my God. Wow. So much to say on this topic.
Wow.
But we are going to actually, dive in a lot deeper with Dr. DeSeta, and she shares more of a sexologist view outside of just our humor view of this. That really
humor
talks about like, why do people people do this in the first place? And what are some of the emotional impacts? And why is this need for digital sexual consent beyond just dick pics? And how is this actually going to help us really use dating apps better and get back some of that making sex fun again that doesn't feel so like forced and cringy and all of that?
Yeah, it's a question of, do you want to have fun on dating apps again? Do you want to get back on the apps? Because so many of you have gotten off the apps. And maybe this is an incentive, is to feel excited and more importantly, safe on the apps again.
Okay, well, before we get into it, of course, you can find more of us at Dateable Podcast on Instagram. We put a lot of clips up. We put some written work up. Of course, we show photos and videos of our baby, our book, How to Be Dateable in the Wild, as not the type of photo you're thinking of. Maybe that's how we get blocked on Instagram, is if we put up some of those photos we're talking about. That's not going to happen. You guys got to go to YouTube for that. I guess as a call out, go to our YouTube channel, Dateable. And there too, we do weekly live sessions. A lot of them get transferred into Brunch Talk. But if you have like a burning question or you want to like join the convo, we encourage you to come over to YouTube and ask us real time. It's like we're texting. We're there. It's like we're on video chat one way. But yeah, make sure to join us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all of it. And of course, go to buy How to Be Dateable out wherever you get your books and audiobooks.
Or you can go to the website, howtobedateable.com.
Awesome. Okay, before we get into it with Dr. DeSeta, let's take a minute to hear from our sponsors. Cooler days call for layers that last, and Quince is my go-to for quality essentials that feel cozy, look refined, and won't blow your budget. Think a Mongolian cashmere sweater for only $50, premium denim that fits like a dream, and luxe outerwear you'll wear year after year. I'm eyeing their wool coats. They look designer level but cost a fraction of the price, and the quality just as good, if not better, because Quince partners directly with top-tier ethical factories and cuts out the middleman. I recently went on quite the Quince haul, getting a tan cashmere sweater and silk skirt I plan on wearing to Thanksgiving. Find your fall staples at Quince. Go to quince.com/dateable for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/dateable to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dateable. You guys know I'm all about clean eating, but I just learned about the hidden microplastics in my home. That's why I've made the switch to Blueland across all the cleaning products around my house. Their products meet the highest standard of clean. They're effective, yet gentle on my family and the planet. Blueland was also named an EPA Safer Choice Partner of the Year. From cleaning sprays and toilet bowl cleaner to dishwasher and laundry detergent tablets, Blueland's formulas are 100% microplastic free, made with certified clean ingredients free from chlorine, bleach, and harsh chemicals that are safe to use around my household. I love not having to choose between the safe option and what actually gets my house clean. The dishwasher and laundry tablets are now staples in our home. Blueland has a special offer for our listeners. Right now, get 15% off your first order by going to blueland.com/dateable. You won't want to miss this. blueland.com/dateable for 15% off. That's blueland.com/dateable to get 15% off. Okay, let's talk about digital sexual consent.
We are familiar with sexual consent in the dating culture, but this idea of digital sexual consent, I feel like, is relatively new and not talked about that much. So that's why we have our guest today, Dr. Mindy DeSeta, here to talk about what is digital sexual consent and how we can be better at it.
We are so excited to have you, Dr. DeSeta, and we know you've done a lot of work with the dating app Hily about a feature on their app, and we're going to get into all of that. But before we do, what does digital sexual consent encompass in your opinion?
So digital sexual consent is you can go on a dating app and you can rest assured that you're not going to get that unsolicited dick pic. You're not going to get that unsolicited sex that you don't want, especially at a time that you're not ready for. Digital sexual consent is saying yes before you are bombarded or traumatized with something that you don't want to see or read.
So is it more than just dick pics, in your opinion?
It's more than just dick pics. Let's be real. Like, the dick pic thing never worked. Primarily, the odds are against you, right? Sending that dick pic to somebody who is not asking for it or expecting it, they're not going to react most likely in the way that you want them to. It actually is a really big turn off. People stop dating. They block each other. So it kind of just kills the vibe completely. So today, this is where you have the ability to say, hey, I want to send this. Are you open to it? And also it goes for words too. So the Hily's dating app is going to be able to pick up on like a series of explicit words. So it will also put the consent feature and it will alert you when it sees a sender sending that out.
It's been a few years since I've been on a dating app. How prevalent is this sort of behavior? Like, how often are people engaging in this sexual discussions and conversations without consent?
So it's about a little less than 40% of people are reporting that they're getting unsolicited pictures.
40?
That's a lot of
Wow.
people.
40.
This is like
Yeah.
across all apps, this data.
Yes.
Wow. So, and then what do you see reported the most? What sort of behavior?
People are annoyed by it. People get off. Like, people are leaving the dating apps because of it. And it's actually causing dating fatigue. So people are still sending the dick pics. And what are we seeing? We're seeing primarily it's mostly men sending these pics to women.
Yeah. I was going to ask, like, I mean, it feels like it is mostly gendered that way, but do you ever see the reverse that I mean, not dick pics clearly, but like other stuff? Like, is there other messages that you see initiated by women more?
Yeah, I think in conversation, we always think that it's men sending dick pics to somebody, but in the research and in the findings, we're also seeing that women are doing it too.
What's like an example of some of the stuff that women send?
Pictures,
Okay.
nudes.
Unsolicited.
These are unsolicited? What? Wow,
Of
interesting.
course.
And these are real
Yeah.
women, not bots or?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
No, these are real women. I know. There is such like a gender stereotype that we always think it's men being more of the ones who maybe the aggressors are putting out these texts. And it is, like, the research is showing that it is more men, but hey, we cannot negate women are doing it too.
So to be very transparent, I feel like with my guy friends who have gotten pictures through online dating, they know these women are pros. Like, they're there to solicit money of some sort. How can we know if it's actual, like, someone trying to connect versus some of these businesses that we just can't stop?
Well, I think, dating in general is a little bit of like go messages. So I always say, like, I tell my clients, how do you date? You're getting like green and red lights constantly. So when you tell somebody your name and you get to know them a little bit, right? You're vibing with them that you're getting like a green light to go to the next step. And if you get somebody that just like skips all these lights and goes right to the nude pic, then that's a red flag.
So, what do you think drives this? Like, is it just anonymity or like instant gratification, like no accountability on dating apps? Like, or is there like larger, like psychological forces at play that make someone want to send a photo or a message it unsolicited to someone that they don't barely know on the internet?
Right? So this is kind of the question I get all the time, and I think it's the $1,000,000 question of like, why are people doing this? And it's a little all the above. I like to start with, I think there is this societal trend, or people believe that there's a societal trend that this is what you do on dating apps. Like, this is part of the norm. Like, this is okay for me. So I think there's like a cultural aspect that people think that this is okay. I think some people just think that they're penis is like really sexy. And they're like, let me show you, let me show off. And it's kind of like this peacocking that they do. And then lastly, right, I think it's a very small group of people, but maybe there is a psychological aspect that they want the thrill of sending it.
I think for some people, they feel like, what's the big deal? It's a picture. I'm not physically harming you. But for an app to actually go the step of creating this digital consent, it must mean that people aren't receiving it well. So what are some of the psychological impacts of someone who's receiving messages?
So Hily created this feature because it was absolutely needed right now. Because receiving a picture like that you're not ready for is actually traumatizing on the other end, especially if you're not expecting it or if you have any trauma in the past. Like being unprepared to see something like this, it is actually traumatizing for people, and it actually is really discouraging. So they were finding that people are no longer dating, they're getting the dating fatigue, and they're leaving the apps altogether. And then you hear a lot of people being like, I can't find the one, I'm so tired of this, I stopped dating, situationships are like out now. So we needed this app to help refresh the whole like aspect of dating so that you can come on to Hily, you can feel safe, you can be yourself. It's the whole culture of Hily is date as you are. So it creates a culture of like, be you, be vulnerable, don't worry, we got you. If someone's gonna like send that unsolicited pic that you don't want, we'll protect you from it. We'll put that consent feature up.
And have you seen like from your clients, like the emotional repercussions, like outside, like, I mean, clearly it's like a lack of respect is what I think of. Like, oh, this person's just gonna, put this out for me. Is there more to it that like you see from that fallout?
Dating is hard. So I have a private practice in Miami where I've been doing this for 10 years now. And basically a lot of my clients come to me because they're having trouble dating. There is a lot of fallout. I recently collaborated with CBS, and we went on the streets of Miami and we interviewed men and women, and we asked them like, how is your dating life? And it was horrific. People had horrific stories, just of horrific things that happened or being ghosted and the pain from that, and no one maybe wanted to be serious. And that's where I truly believe in dating apps. And I think the culture of a dating app means everything. It's the mindset that you go in with. And that's why I think having a dating app that is saying, be you, be vulnerable, date as you are, you can go on here and like hopefully get a little refresh because people are tired right now.
Yeah. Can you walk us through how this feature would work? Because I know on Instagram, if someone sends me a picture that could be detected as explicit, then they censor it, and then they'll say, "Do you consent to seeing this picture?" How does it
Right,
work
and it's
on
like
Hily?
blurred out.
Yeah, it's blurred out. Yes.
So with Hily, it's a little bit different. So if you are like having this conversation with somebody and one person wants to heat it up by sending a picture or a solicit like text message, right? Hily has machine learning that is going to pick up the image and it's going to pick up a series of words that can be explicit. And it's learning as the trends evolve. But basically, you send it, you put it out there, the sender sends it out, and then the receiver is going to get a notification that it's going to be a bunny, and the little bunny is going to say, super cute bunny.
That's how you make
right?
dick
It's
pics
fun.
cute.
Yeah, it's this is not meant, like this app is not meant to kill the vibe. It's meant to like make it fun and playful and relax. So you're going to get your bunny notification and it's going to say like, somebody wants to heat up this chat. Do you want to? Do you accept? And it's one click. So you can click it and then whatever they sent you. And I kind of think that's foreplay a little bit, because imagine if you're like sitting at work or something and you see your little bunny notification and you're like, oh, I can't wait to get home and like open it up, right? Like you're excited. Or so they send it to you and you're not in the mood, or you just don't want to go there with that person. You have two choices. You can ignore it and just pretend it never happened and just keep typing away. And then after 12 hours, it will just disappear, or you can decline it.
So I think this is brilliant because, I mean, look, obviously no one wants to get like unsolicited when you're just like talking.
Yeah.
I remember just being in conversation with someone and like all of a sudden it just switched. We're talking about like what, like that we both like cooking. And then all of a sudden I'm getting a dick pic. And like that is very jarring. But I do feel like, okay, I was always like, who is this person that spread the rumor that people like this? Like there has to be at least one woman out there that has said that. And I actually met someone. I met someone that likes it. That was like, I think it's hot when people send dick pics. So again, it can be more than just dick pics. But like, I think what I like about this is like for the people that do want to heat it up, it's still an option. We're not saying like you can't send this stuff.
Yeah.
But for the people that aren't ready or like think that they're still talking about cooking and now it's going to uncharted territory, there's that little bunny that gives them an alert that we're no longer talking about recipes anymore.
And I think it's actually kind of empowering, right? Because now you can say, I want to send this, but I don't know how the other person's going to receive it. And like, I want this to like, get hotter here. So you can almost rest assured in sending it too that you're not going to traumatize the person or they're not going to block you on the other end. This is really meant to be like an empowering feature so that you can come on and you can just feel relaxed that we got you. You're not going to get that when you least expect it. Or, if you want to send it and you're not sure how your partner is going to feel, well, you're going to get a direct response. And if they accept or decline it.
What is the experience of the sender? So that they send the message and then are they told if the other person has accepted or ignored it?
Yeah, you'll get a notification. Mm-hmm.
But if someone ignored it, then do they know?
No, you'll kind of just see the notification in the chat because you have the ability to just think about it. Your ability to say yes or no to the consent guard feature, the bunny, you have the ability to say yes or no for 12 hours. You can like sit on it. And if you, right, the anticipation.
Well, I guess if you're like at work or something, maybe you want to later,
Yeah.
Right? So you can leave it in the chat and then you can keep texting. So they'll know that like you didn't open it yet.
Okay, so they'll eventually, like, if 12 hours goes by and it's still in the chat, but there's no like notification of opening, they can make the assumption like this person didn't want this.
Yeah, it's probably a pretty good assumption then.
Does that make things awkward? Like, should you address it at that point? Like, oh, I didn't realize we weren't there yet.
Yeah.
Sorry. Or do you just go, oh, well, there goes the bunny?
Right. So the feature is adapting to many different personality types, right? So you have the option accept, decline, or I don't know what to do. Let me just think about this and pretend that never happened. So we're going to match different personality types. As a sexologist, if you're in this position and you sent it and your partner or the person you're vibing with just ignored it and didn't say anything, I would completely encourage you to bring it up.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's kind of like this white elephant in the room.
White bunny, yeah.
The white bunny in the room. Yeah, that'd be really awkward.
Yeah.
Just like, it's like imagine in real life, you just like put your dick on the table and the other person just like pretends it's not there. And then you take it back. You're like, so weather today.
What recipe are you looking at? Yeah,
what are you going to order today? This is super interesting for me on so many levels. One level is my partner actually sends me a bunny every day, so I'm gonna have to tell him like,
not that type of bunny though, I assume.
It's a different meaning to the bunny now. But second is I think regardless of whether, well, I'm not gonna say regardless, but I think out of curiosity, I would always want to open the message just out of curiosity. I may not love it, but I would be so curious. Right. I'd be like, what is the bunny delivering to me?
Right, because it doesn't need to be a dick pic. We just keep going to that example because it's like the most common. But it could be like an explicit sexual message, right? Like just text. Doesn't have to be an image.
Yes, it doesn't have to be an image.
Yeah.
The machine learning is actually going to pick up on like what is trending of like how people are kind of like explicitly talking. So, I mean, curiosity, who's not going to want to open it, but at least now you have
you made the call.
you can open it at the right.
Yes.
Yeah. Like
Yes.
you are back in control.
Right. You know something's
Yes.
coming. I have a question for you. So let's say you're using another app that doesn't have a feature like Hily's. What are some other ways that you can practice digital consent? Like, for example, like, could you say like ask for permission, or what are some ways that you can, as let's say you're the person that wants to send something? How do you do that if there aren't these safeguards in place? Clearly having the tools and technology is ideal, but for people that are using all apps.
Even with the safeguard, I would say verbally vibe it out first. Otherwise, you could have that awkward bunny in the room that like the other person's going to ignore. Now it's just in the text thread. Like, and it doesn't, again, like asking for consent does not have to kill the vibe. It can be sexy in the way you ask it. Like, hey, are you interested in getting like a sexy pic? Like,
that's true.
You know?
Yeah.
Like you could ask it in a really casual way. Like, are you into that? Like, do you like sexy texting? You know,
I think this whole I'm curious, like your opinion as a sexologist, because consent culture, I mean, clearly like backing outside of digital for a second, I feel like obviously there's so many positives of consent culture, of people like not forcing themselves on people and all the stuff that came out of Me Too. But the only thing that we've kind of seen like as like the backlash is that people don't really approach as much. Like we see like men not like going up to women as much and quote unquote hitting on them, which is also a terrible phrase when you think about it that way. So maybe it's good that it went away, but we see that we see a lot of hetero women complain that no one approaches them anymore. No one flirts with them. No one does anything. I'm curious your take of like, again, maybe it's not a bad thing if this just goes away and like people don't send these messages, but like, do you see any of that backlash happening, or do you think this is different?
I see in general, people are not being as vulnerable as they once were. I think if you look back at societal norms, especially when we dive into gender stereotypes, you're going to assume that men are going to approach the women and begin that courting process. We see an evolution away from that. I see self-esteems on both sides decreasing. Dating is probably one of the most vulnerable things that we can do, because in order for you to date, you have to be vulnerable. You have to open up and you have to be open to getting your heart broken. That's hard for people nowadays. They really create these walls. So if you're not being vulnerable, you know, it's not going to feel the same way as flirting, because nobody wants to be turned down. And then I do think that the dating apps created a whole new dating culture. A lot of people, you know, they talk on the dating app and we almost miss that courting process that happens in person. It almost is like happening on the apps or through texting. So you miss it in person. And, you know, we look to dating apps now to find who we want to go on a date with, maybe not even the one, but like who we want to go on a date with and have fun with, versus a lot of people, don't approach each other in real life because the risk of getting turned down it's painful.
So do you think there's a chance that people would like approach each other less on dating apps, or do you think that like wouldn't happen because now there's more of these like safeguards?
I hope that the culture in the dating app encourages people to approach. Because, you know, that's kind of what it is, right? It's all about like swipe. You know, you get as many swipes as you want and, you know, like put yourself out there. Like, you know, you're almost breaking down that vulnerability barrier with like matching when you put that swipe. So it's almost like that first green light that, ooh, they swipe back, they matched with me. So now I have a green light to ignite a conversation. And I think it actually helps people feel more confident in the dating.
And I think especially with like features like this, I know I would feel like more comfortable talking to someone if I knew like it wouldn't just get sprung on me.
Right. And I think it also like
literally.
But I think even like knowing that you have this safeguard in place, you can almost push those sexy boundaries and like be a little bit more flirtatious, versus maybe other times you would be a little bit more reserved in fear of, oh my gosh, what are they going to just like explicitly send me or say?
Yeah, I think the problem with dick pics historically for my experience. The first dick pic I ever saw was actually from a listener of our podcast who was trying to. She emailed us with a story of a dick pic and she attached the dick pic to the email. That was completely unsolicited. And I remember just being so shocked in the moment to open up an email, like on our Dateable email, and find this dick pic. That wasn't hers, obviously. She was just trying to tell us a story, but there was no ramp up. If there was a story, right? Like I always think if there's a story and there's a little ramp up and she's setting up the scene and she's giving us a story and there's tension, then she's like, the payoff is a dick pic.
Right.
Then I would want to see it. And I think when it comes to dating culture, it is always like the ramp up is gone.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Yeah.
boom,
Right.
like what you're talking about, Julie, recipes to dick pic. There's no in between. So how does Hily pick up ramp up versus being sprung? Like, what is the linguistic difference between, oh, we're just flirting to now we're getting to this line?
So Hily also has features that will aid you in the ramp up because not everybody knows how to do the ramp
that's
up, right?
interesting.
So
most
that's
don't.
so that's what I was saying too. I think dating apps took away the courting culture,
Yeah.
right? Like people go straight to it. So they took away that courting process. That was so much fun. So Hily's trying to bring that back, especially they're trying to bring it back of like, it's not all about the pictures and the looks, right? So when you sign up, you're also going to take this compatibility quiz. And then everyone has kind of a score of how you match with the other person that you're, when you're swiping through people to date, right? So you're going to get that compatibility score and you're also going to see like how they answered it. So here you have like a list of 10 things that you can bring up of what you matched on or maybe what you didn't match on. They also have like an anthem song. So you can kind of get a vibe of who the person is based on like what song they're doing. So they're trying to make it like this is the person visually and here's their personality as a whole.
Like the vibe of them. And that's been kind of missing on dating apps.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
So would something be like, oh, it's hot out. What are you wearing? I don't know.
This is you sexy talk, everyone.
Does that deserve a bunny or not?
I don't know. I think you got to be a little sexier not to get a bunny. You got to try harder.
It's hot out right now? No.
I think I was so get on this app just to push the boundaries of the bunny, just to see when I could get the bunny.
I think you brought up something really interesting, Dr. DeSeta, though, because I think when I think of dating app combos, it's either like 0 to 100. I'm sending explicit pics and I'm sending crazy messages and I don't even know you. Or it stays in like this like stale zone of like I'm asking like all the basic questions like what do you do for work? Where do you live? Like date review. So I feel like there's this missing in the middle. And I'm like thinking back on like experiences that I've had where, yeah, like sometimes a little sexy talk can be fun, but it's not like right out of the gate. It, like the buildup is there. And, I think again, like knowing that it's coming is a big piece of it. I guess like from your perspective as a sexologist, like how does having a little, consensual sexual energy help, form a relationship or a connection?
Well, it's one of the pillars of a relationship, right? Is having that sexual chemistry. And I think as a sexologist, people are like, but we don't have great sex. And I say, you have to get to learn a person first. Like, everything in our world impacts our libido. Everything in our world impacts how we relate to another person. So when we're thinking, what is the aspect of the physical chemistry in a relationship? It's a really important piece. It's one way how we connect, but it's not always going to be perfect. So we do have to work on it. I think like daters, they evolve together. They learn each other. You ask questions. You can kind of push that boundary a little bit and see how the other person responds to get to learn who they are as their intersexual being.
Do you have like a time period that you recommend introducing that, or is it like all per couple?
Yes.
It's going to be all per couple. So, I was on speaking with another client and we were discussing how she has a 3-date rule. I'm like, but why? what does that serve? That sounds like it
Mhm.
could be punishment to you, you know? It's so I don't think there's a rule. What I think the rule is when you desire it, right? So there's a lot of societal norms about, oh, if they sleep on the first date, then she's a slut. You know, there are all these societal rules that we try to adhere to. A lot of us are impacted by that, and we're impacted by what we learned as a kid. You know, what did our parents teach us? What did the people around us teach us? What did our religion teach us? So we try to adhere to these, but we get so anxious and confused and conflicted that I'm like, just listen to what your mind and your body is saying to you. If you are invested and you are looking for this desire and you're feeling aroused, that's when the time is. And it might be on the first date, it might be on the 10th.
Mhm.
I want to dive into this even more, but before we do, let's take a quick break to hear from our partners.
Many of you have heard us talk about Hormone Harmony by Happy Mammoth, the supplement that helps women maintain optimal hormone levels, with over 50,000 glowing reviews from women worldwide and 98% saying they recommend it to friends and family. Now you can take those results even further by pairing it with their prebiotic collagen protein, which helps restore gut lining integrity, promoting overall hormone levels. Now, I've struggled with occasional digestive issues, and since taking the prebiotic collagen protein, I've noticed a real lift in my energy and overall well-being. Happy Mammoth is dedicated to making women's lives easier, and that means using only science-backed ingredients that have been proven to work for women. They make no compromise when it comes to quality, and it shows. Right now, you can try prebiotic collagen protein and Hormone Harmony risk-free and get 15% off your entire first order with the code DATEABLE at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use the code DATEABLE for 15% off today. Another timeline question. How long do you think the sexy talk should go for before you meet up in person? I have a girlfriend that went on a trip to Greece with her friend, and she was just met this guy on a dating app. They hadn't met in person yet, and they were already engaging in some sexting. And they were sexting every night and doing all this for like a whole week while she was on vacation. And when she came back, she couldn't wait to see him and meet him in person finally. And it completely fell flat.
Yeah.
It was not as hot as she built it up to be. So is there a good time period for, now it's time to get off the apps?
Yeah. This is what everyone tells me. They're like, we keep chatting on the app, but nothing ever comes to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the person. Like if you want to like heat it up so it's tantalizing and there's a little foreplay, but yeah, then it's time to meet in person. We can't hide behind this like shield in the dating app. And this is kind of where it goes to. People are a lot more confident on the dating app than they are in real life.
Yeah,
so they
true.
keep it on the dating app, but you need to meet up in person at some point. I guess when the point is like when you feel safe and when you desire this person. Otherwise, it just stays in the app, and that's a red flag.
I mean, I feel like even outside of like sexy talk,
Mhm.
if you're just chatting and chatting and chatting, it's usually a letdown when you finally meet. But I feel like when you add in sexting and that chemistry buildup, it heightens the whole experience. So I can
Yes.
imagine like the letdown is even greater. Do you like see this with clients or, you know, people that you've interacted with through Hily's like database or anyone that you have access to? I'm not going to limit it there. Like, have you ever seen an example of like someone that was more maybe reserved in person and then they like amp it up for the dating app?
Oh my God. The dating app culture in Miami is wild here. I have clients, they fly around the world to take their photos. They hire professional photographers. They get designers to give them the perfect outfit, entire image that they put on their dating profile. But then they never execute on a date. And you know, as their sexologist, I'm like, why not? And it is that fear of, I want to portray this image online that may not be realistic. And that's a recipe for disaster, right? Because then if you do meet up with that person in real life, you realize that what they're portraying online is not realistic to who they are. Now you've lost complete trust in who they are, right? And you're probably not going to go on a second date with them. So again, the culture of the dating app is everything. That's why I like Hily, because we're taking it away from just the pictures and we're trying to look at the whole person. And we're also creating a culture of like, just be you in the picture. Because if you're you, there's a lot less fear of the letdown when you meet somebody in person. You know, you're more likely to finally ask them to go on a date if you're like, I'm not hiding anything. But again, this goes back to a lot of self-esteem. A lot of people right now are struggling with their self-esteem. And a dating app can give you the ability to put on a persona that of who you want to be.
I think there's a yes and perspective to that, because I do think how people present online is an extension of who they are. But when you meet them in person, there's no shortcut to get there. Like they don't have the safety or the confidence to present in the same way. So how do people, especially when it comes to sexual content, a lot of people are very free digitally because that is what they fantasize about. Maybe these are their kinks, but they're not as free in person to explore that. How can people be more consistent to their sexual desires when it, to match the real life and the digital?
I truly believe everyone can live their best sex life, right? First of all, it really takes you to understand what that is, but you have to have a partner that you feel comfortable with. And at first it starts with communication. And it's interesting because you have couples who are dating, talking about sex, and you have long-term couples who are still trying to figure this out. One of the things I love about the Gen Z is that when they date, they seem to be a lot more explicit with their dating, like what they're looking for sexually in dating. Like some of my younger daters, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, wow, you actually asked that on a date? Like, good for you.
Like what?
What's an example? Yeah.
Okay. I was talking to one of my clients and they're like, yeah, I think it was one of the first or second dates. And they were like, do you like anal?
Oh.
And I was like, wow, what did they say? And they were like, oh yeah, like they're totally into it.
They'd probably get the bunny for that one.
You get the bunny. You definitely get the bunny.
I was trying to type out anal glands because I'm a doctor.
But then I was asking, and they were telling me that no, this is a part of the culture. It's like
Wow.
It's very common that people talk about. I said, wow, that's not something that millennials talked about when they were dating. That's not something that I don't remember that.
I wonder if it's just like things are so much more public now. Like we didn't have podcasts, we didn't have social media, none of that existed as millennials growing up. And we were like reading our Cosmo magazines in private, like maybe it's just more out there and normalized.
I think once we made sexual health a part of holistic health, people started talking about it.
Yes.
Even like being in this industry for 10 years, when I first started saying I'm a sexologist, I'm a sex therapist, there was taboo around me, huge taboo. There were places that people were like, no, we don't want you to say that. I did a talk in front of a group of women around Valentine's Day. I think it's like 50 women. We talked about dating, and I put PhD sexologist, and they asked me to remove the word sexologist.
Wow.
I said, why? Why? I've been in school for 9 years. Why would I remove that? And they said, oh, because, it's not a really good image. I said, we're talking about dating. That was like 5 years ago. That's never happened to me now. So I think we've made huge strides in just like, we want to talk about sex. And I mean, I give the daters today a lot of credibility for being vulnerable because sex is a part of a relationship. So if that's one piece that you're really not going to vibe on, whether it makes or breaks a relationship, you should know.
So this maybe goes to digital sexual consent too. And then also your example of Gen Z dater that you talked to just like launching into anal. Like what is the buildup? Because like Yue was saying, like it doesn't feel good if you send a message and no one reads it and it goes unanswered. How do you how does the convo, or here's a better question. What are some signs you can pick up on the convo that, oh, I can ask, do they like anal? Or I can send that explicit message. Like, how do you start, like, if you are the one that wants to heat it up, like, how do you start to like read the room better so it doesn't come out of nowhere?
So, right. So think bunny in your head,
Yeah.
right? Think bunny. Yeah, you really don't want to just take somebody off guard like that, like, because that's going to be a turnoff, just like it is on the dating apps. So yeah, you have to kind of ease into how are we going to start, like how do you connect with people? Maybe what are even just getting to know them for holistic, like who they are, right? And then you can kind of get into some of their morals, some of their beliefs. How do you feel about spending the night? How do you feel about touching? How do you feel about kissing? And things like that. So you're kind of like leading into it. Think of like the green lights. If you're seeing somebody like start crossing their arms or leaning back or their voice gets lower, these are all signs of stop. Those are red lights.
Totally hear that, but on a dating app,
Yeah.
like you wouldn't have that time, right?
Right.
So like, is there anything that like if someone put it out there that you could be like, oh, maybe I could put this back out there? Like if they did like UA's line, it's getting really hot outside.
Yeah. What are you wearing or not?
Humor always helps. I think to heat it up a little bit, like what are some of the things that would make you feel good? Like what would you want to hear, you know? Trying to think of like how we could spice it up.
Yeah, like is there an example of like kind of like maybe like level 1? Like let's say level 10 is like the dick pic. Like what's level 1 that you could like send something that wouldn't even get the bunny maybe just to like start the process?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking like, yeah, I've never had someone be like, do you like anal? At least on a dating app. And
Yeah.
I probably didn't even know what anal was till I was like 32. But I did have I had someone text on a dating app, do you like tongue emoji, eggplant emoji? And I was like, yeah, it's fine. I'm thinking blowjob, sure. And then he put, but how about tongue emoji, eggplant emoji, another tongue emoji? And I was like, oh, who's the other tongue? Would that, first of all, would a message like that get flagged? And is that like a level 1 that we're thinking of?
That feels
If that's
beyond a
a level
level
one,
1 to me.
level 1. I mean, level 1. I was kind of thinking like, you know, are you touchy? Are you feely? Do you like holding hands?
How
I thought that was
affectionate are
level
you?
1.
Yeah, I was like, I think that's like a level 8 at least. Maybe 5.
Once
Maybe
you get to
get the bunny.
eggplant,
conservatively.
I mean, it's machine learning, and we use eggplant really for one thing. So
Yeah, probably would
I
get the
can
bunny.
imagine you get the
You
bunny.
probably would.
What if he's just like asking if you like eggplant? Like, it's just
No one is asking if you like eggplants with the emoji. No one.
you like eating eggplant? It's great.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you're right. Level 1 would be like how affectionate are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, like do you like long lingering kisses or do you like a hot, passionate, quick kiss or something like that? Maybe.
That's sexier. Yeah. I'm usually not the one telling my clients what to
Yeah.
send.
Good.
You're like, this is not in my job
Exactly, because-
description, guys. Yeah. That's on them to figure out. Yeah. I guess like in general, I'm curious, like, because clearly this is like a widespread thing that across all the apps that inappropriate photos and messages and all this non-consensual piece is happening. And Hily is taking like the stance to like do something about it. Was that like what drew you to working with them, or like what made you align from a sexologist perspective?
So I've always believed in dating apps from the very, very beginning. And then we saw where people were just getting totally immune to each
Mhm.
other. Remember, you just like swipe and you had like 400 matches because you've been on the site for so long, and then you weren't talking to anybody and nothing went anywhere and people were just getting rid of them. I was like kind of sad when that happened because people are like, these things are not working. And I think dating apps have a place because if you're busy and you're working, you don't have a lot of time to go sit at Starbucks and like try to look like, hey, I want someone to sit with me or come up and talk to me. So I always believed in them. And then I found Hily because what really drew me to them was their compatibility quiz. I loved that because it took away the huge emphasis that people were putting on the pictures. Like, I'm in Miami. Appearance here is everything, and flashing like, trying to like really flaunt how much money you have is huge here. It really, I thought, distorted who the person was. And Hily was like, date as you are. That's our culture. Be vulnerable. We're going to give you this compatibility quiz. You can also like get talking points too that can just like help you get to learn the person. And they're actually having a lot more success finding matches than any other site.
That's kind of funny that as a sexologist, you're saying, like, let's move away from the photos. Like, the actual stuff that's going to build that connection and chemistry is the personality and seeing someone as they are. So I just want to like point that out for a second, because I think that's an interesting parallel that is why it drew you in the first place.
Yeah, well, at first, like what I was learning from people, they were like spending all this money on their photos that just like weren't realistic to their Monday through Friday life. And then they were having AI write their bio. So now I know who are you matching with? I don't even know who that person is. Hily's dating app like steered away from all of it so you could actually connect. And like as a sexologist, how do we have the best emotional intimacy, the best physical intimacy? That's when you feel the most connected and safe emotionally with your partner. So this was a way, because looks, they don't create that like safeness or that emotional intimacy that like you have that you need to have that really good sex.
So maybe we spend some time just on that as our last portion, is how do you build intimacy digitally? How do you do that on an app?
I love this question because a lot of, you can do long distance. You can do with the person next door, but doing it digitally. Now you have to learn that person like through their words. You hear every word that they're saying because you're reading it. And, we're not focusing on the super expensive dinner. We're not focusing on maybe, whatever other like flash thing that date was trying to offer. We're actually getting to learn the person in their everyday routine life. We're learning what their interests are. We're learning maybe they're really frustrated with something at that moment. They're going to share it. Like you're learning just their authentic self.
And then how do you see the shift to digital sexual consent shaping like healthier digital interactions overall?
It shows respect, right? And it goes back to that courting process. It's like, I care about you. I care about this relationship. Like, I don't want to startle you or make you feel awkward, but yet I kind of like you and I want to make this a little bit sexy. Are you into it? It's vulnerable. Vulnerability bonds us. And especially if the other person is like, no, not right now, that's okay. We've just opened up a conversation. You just open up a conversation. And if the other person listens to you and they're like, all right, cool, never mind later, that builds trust.
How do you see this affecting younger people? Because you talked about Gen Z a bit, and then we clearly have other generations that we're ushering in. How are you and other people in the space like teaching more about consent in digital spaces to these younger generations?
I wish I was a Gen Z. Like Gen Z, Gen Z is such a cool generation because I think they're being taught so much more. They're being exposed to so many things. And I think Gen Z is known for being one of the healthiest generations that we've seen so far. Gen Z is actually looking for authentic relationships. Gen Z is like going away from the one night stands where you don't know their names or like think about them again, right? They're kind of going back to wanting more of an authentic connection, even if it is a one night stand, but they like really value that. So one of the morals that like Gen Z is just encompassing all together is that respect, but also kind of embracing people's sexuality. And if you're going to embrace that sexuality, you're going to push those boundaries and you're going to have fun. Part of that is consent. So it's almost becoming a norm to them. Like millennials, it was something that we're learning how to verbalize it. Like we're learning how to understand it, how to define it, like exactly what it is. Gen Zs, they're growing up with it. This is a norm. This is what you do. I hope it also brings back like that courting process and the flirtation and that fun piece of, happening digitally or in person.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think our generation needs this more than the younger generation. Like we need to be taught this more, and the older than us too.
I guess just all in all, I think what I'm taking away from this conversation is that like digital sexual consent or any consent is all about respect at the end of the day. And it's not inherently wrong that people want to have sexy talk and send images. It becomes not ideal and borderline harassment when it's not consensual. And I think what I'm hearing from you is that like it actually can help, further a connection if done in the right way. And having these types of tools like Hily's putting in place that can allow people to, be able to consent to, do I want to see this or do I not, is a step in that direction to building overall respect. And respect is kind of what's missing from a lot of dating apps nowadays.
And think of this too, like this consent guard feature that we're implementing. It's creating a culture around like consent is a part of the norm, and it actually embraces sexuality, because once you have consent, now you can have a lot of fun, right? If the other person is like, I'm into it, now you're off to the races. Like, so it's actually embracing sexuality because you're saying, okay, we're both here. Let's go.
Yeah, I really like that. So many people, like you talked about in the beginning, when it comes to dating, they feel like a lot of things are happening to them. It's out of their control. And that's when they get really disenchanted by dating. I hate the dating culture. I hate the people I'm meeting because they're doing this to me, or they're saying this to me, or they're sending this to me. But by creating this moat around what you allow into your messaging space, you're able to say, well, now I'm taking accountability for what I experience. And if I am allowing this sexual content to come in, then I need to take responsibility for that. It's no longer things happening to me. I'm allowing it to happen for me. So I like what you're saying of the empowerment aspect. I fully get it now, because you're inviting this in or saying, nope, I don't want it. And then you don't have to complain about something that you're getting that is unsolicited, that is unwelcome.
Exactly.
I think your point, though, I just want to reiterate this, of like whether there's technology and features on the app you're using, it doesn't matter in a way. Like, you should be easing into these conversations and asking if this is something that people want, because like we don't want that, white bunny in the room of unanswered questions.
Right. Don't forget about the tantalizing foreplay. Yes. Lead up to it. That's how, when you get that bunny notification, you're already warmed up, right? Like, you already created some of that arousal. And if you want to think about it, level 1 through 10, however we're doing level 1, right? Like, you're easing them into it, but also like getting their mind excited.
And I think this is so important because it removes the assumptions. Like, I think that's what's wrong with dick pics and sexual messages today, is like there's this assumption on the person sending, like the other person wants this and it's hot. And that's not always the response and reaction. So when you have that verbal conversation to get that consent on top of all the other features that exist, then that's when, you can actually have something that either moves in that direction organically, or you realize like, actually, this isn't the right time to send something like that. Or maybe this person never wants to see something like that.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. DeSeta, for bringing to light a topic that we don't really discuss that often. So digital sexual consent. Everybody should be practicing it. And if people want to find out more about you and your practice, where can they go?
You can check out my Instagram at Dr. Mindy DeSeta.
All right. We're going to wrap up this episode. Stay dateable.